program to bring you a special report.
In recognition of great African American achievers, this Black History Month, let's bring our A game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, how you doing my Crimsonites? How you doing? TGIF. Y'all gonna hear a lot of clinking and clanking with this hand fan today. I know that. I know that. Let's see who we got in here. It's Akuma. Hey Audrey. Hey Jermaine. Evo Sosa. Father's Time. The Bishop. I got my A Game family in here. How you doing, Ariana? Tambu, Dilly, Clarence, Inca, Bucket 88, Keith. Walaikum assalam to Clarence and Keith. Hey Prada. We got some stuff to discuss today. Thank you, Evo. Hey Natasha. I just want to talk to you today. I just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you. That's all I want. Thank you, Lake Evans. Finally caught a lot. How are you? I am doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, Jürgen. Is that how you say your name? Jürgen Peter? From Germany? I hope I pronounced that right. OSRS, Nova, how you doing? Thank you. Hey, Michael. Just giving people a chance to come in, settle down, put your feet up, put your toe up, if that's what you're going to do. Oh, thank you. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise due to Allah. Bless this young lady who is giving out this. Oh, thank you so much, Keith. Hey, Yakuba. How you doing? Hey, Petway. Like I said, y'all can hear some clicking and clanking on this hand fan. I never knew hand fans can make so much noise, but they kind of do. Hey, Malcolm. They kind of do. Hey, Muhammad. Thank you, Marlon. Hey, Kathy. Don Nitro watching from London. Hey. I'm getting some worldwide people, some international Crimsonites. We international, y'all. Hey, I love it. Jerome M. Hey, thank you, sweeties. And back like I never left. Keep your foot on these bum bras next. Love y'all. Love you too, sweetie. Go ahead and hit the like button. You go bam, 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 bam. It's a thumbs up button with the like button. Gotta hit the like button when you come on in and sit down. You gotta See how I make me do the thumb dance? Oh my goodness. So, okay, we got a little bit of crowd. We got a little bit of somebody in here. Hey, Rayvon, we got a little bit of people in here. So this is what we're talking about today, everybody. As you can see the title, Black women sold out Black culture. And if you notice the peculiar way in which sold has been spelled. Because see, what we're going to talk about. You were just doing a robot. Hey, Complex, how you doing, sweetie? Thank you, Miss Kathy Alexander. So you can see the way in which we spell sold. Okay, because we're going to talk about the spiritual component, the missing soul, the missing heart out of our culture now. And I'm charging the women up because we supposed to be the ones that cultivate that in ourselves, in our families, in our homes, in our schools, in our neighborhoods. We are the ones that are supposed to support and uplift and keep that spirit alive, keep that soul factor alive. And we didn't do it. Black women dropped that ball. Drop that ball. Honey, you dropped that ball. You fumbled that ball. You was a whole fumble bunny with that ball. This was the Super Bowl. We was in the red zone. Less than 2 minutes. We handed you the rock. The offensive line made a hole. All you had to do was run through and score for us. And you fumbled the ball. The other team recovered and ran it back for 6. That's what happened to it. That's what happened to it. That's what happened to it. Yes, Father's time on the 1 yard line. They didn't even make a goal line stand. You just fumbled the ball. Like you had butter on it. Jurgen said feminism sold out the culture of the Western world. He said that. He said, hey, it's gone. Peak said they didn't fumble it. They handed it off to the defensive end. That's bad. That's worse than fumbling it and then they recovered it for 6 and ran it back. Listen. Before we get to how the culture was sold out, let's talk about what we used to have, y'all. Who in here is old enough to remember family dinners? Who in here old enough to remember family dinners? I remember family dinners. It didn't matter if you was in the hood or you lived in Beverly Hills as a Black family. Just bear with me, y'all. Just bear with me, y'all, with my analogies, y'all. Black folk had family dinner. If you had a big mama, okay, if you had a big mama would cook. She would get the women And she would throw down in that kitchen now. If you was in that family as a woman and couldn't cook, we knew you wasn't listening to Big Mama. Hey, AL. Hey, Miss Sherry. Hey, Dr. Michelle. We know you wasn't listening to Big Mama. If you was a woman in a black family that couldn't cook and you had a Big Mama, you wasn't listening to your Big Mama. Listen, let me tell you something. We used to call our food what? What did we call our food? What did black folk used to call our food? Yes, Father Time. Big Mama loves some Big Daddy now. And you was going to respect Big Daddy in front of Big Mama. You sure was. We used to call it soul food. Thank you. Thank you, Ebo Salsa. Said, go ahead and put this with the rest as I tiptoe back to my seat. Okay, sweetie. We used to call it soul food. And we used to call soul food because it was cooked with a lot of love. It was cooked with the feeling and the spirit. You know, Big Mama used to go to church and come back, and sometimes she would cook the food before we went to church. Cause you know, in black family, a lot of times that Sunday you was in church all day. Now you get to church round about 10 o'clock, you know, the service start. And Big Mama was active in the church. So she might have cooked the church food the night before. And she cooked our dinner the day of. So you know, that's how you learn. That's how women learned how to cook a big meal. See, I learned how to cook Thanksgiving meals like that. Because for all of the things that my mother was, she still had that soul food kind of, you know, you cook a big dinner and you know how to listen, your girl can throw down. I may not eat them carbs no more, but that don't mean I can't cook them. Okay? Don't tell me we having a big old shindig the next day. You want some greens, some dressing, because black folk don't eat stuffing. We eat dressing now. Dressing, and either if you didn't have a turkey, you best put you a couple of chickens in that dressing. There was a lot of Thanksgivings that we had to have a chicken. We had to have chickens. Now, you learn how to cook you some sweet potatoes, cornbread, potato salad, mac and cheese. Do you understand me? Right, Miss Sherry, or some hens. You put you some Cornish hens in there in the dressing if you didn't have no turkey. Right, Father's Time. You gonna put y'all know what it is. We used to put a couple of Cornish hens in there. Don't make me bust out these recipes. I had you tell somebody up about that dressing. And my turkey ain't never been dry. You understand me? But anyway, go get spent off on that. But see, a lot of the younger black women don't know what I'm talking about. Because they did not experience a big mama that was old enough to cook. See, they grandmama don't even want to be called grandmama. She a grandma. Girl, boop. And she grandma because she my age. I'm 43, so she about 46. And she don't want to be called grandma, because that make her feel old. Did nobody tell you to have a daughter at 15? And your granddaughter is now 15. So these younger women have not had the experience of the big mama and cooking and family, and you sit down at the dinner table and you eat. Yes, Ebo Sosa, don't get me started on peach cobblers, sweet potato pies, okay? Or banana pudding. Because I can make some real old school banana pudding, but my sister make a real good, I call it new school banana pudding. Because I used to make banana pudding the real old school Big Mama way. I'm going to just let y'all know what the real old school banana pudding way was. Because we old school banana pudding used to cook it. You get you some bananas. You get you some Nilla wafers. Don't you come in here with no other brand. Nilla by Nabisco. Nilla wafers. And do you know what I used to do with it? Take you some sweetened condensed milk, a whole can, and you layer it and pour it on there. And then you put it in the oven a little bit. You whip up some egg whites. Throw your little cream of tartar in there and a little sugar. Whip up your egg whites. When your banana pudding because you don't get really gotta cook. You just cooking down that sweetened condensed milk till it start caramelizing a little bit and soften them wafers up. And then you spread the egg white on there, and then you broil it just to give a toast to the top of it. That's real old school banana pudding right there. I don't know who remember cooking it like that. But these young women, these young black women don't know nothing about that. Know nothing about that. It ain't no soul food no more. Everything is McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Checkers. That's what it is. You eat by yourself. You eat on the run. Nobody is sitting down, especially in these single mother homes where there are no husbands to make the structure for the family. Excuse me. You let your kids eat whatever. A lot of times you're not even fixing them dinner anymore. You piling up your refrigerator and your cabinet specifically with stuff that you don't have to cook. Stuff they can go in there and just get and just eat. And a lot of times that stuff is so non-nutritional. My sister don't say women don't cook nowadays. She say they assemble food. And she had me in the flow with it. And I said, you know what, you right. My sister said they don't cook food no more, they assemble it. Y'all know what assembling food is? Everything is in a can, a box, a bag. And you just open that can and throw it right there. Then you open that bag and you put that right there. And then you open that box and you put that right there. It might need microwaving just to get a little heat to it. And boom, you got assembled food. I do not keep canned goods in my house. Do you understand me? But we ain't even gonna go there. Why am I talking about the food? Because it's missing that spiritual component. We had soul food. Now, it may not have always been the best health-wise, the way we prepared our food and things of that nature. It may not be quite as healthy as we could have made it. But we sat down together. We ate together. The food was cooked with love and care. Your mama or your big mama used to care about whether or not you liked the food. Took pride in folks liking the food. I still do that. I like to see folks get my food and then I like to see folk get my food and they be eating it, and then they do this. To get them shoulders working and then they get quiet. I like that. Because that's how I cook my food. I cook my food like that. I cook my food like that. I cook it. I want to see you do this when you eat. Okay? That give me pleasure. What about the card games? I never could play cards, but I sure would fry some fish for the card game. I can't play spades at gunpoint. Do you understand me? And somebody has explained it to me a million times. And for the moment, for right then and there, I get it. And then I forget. I forget it. But you cook you some fish, fry you some fish. And some spaghetti. And that be for the card game, the domino game. We used to sit around and play board games with each other. That kind of thing. That's what we used to do. Thank you again, Ebo Sosa. And nowadays, brothers are better off eating fingernail something. Yeah. He's sitting there, digging eating what's on this fingernail. That's so nasty. That's nasty, Ebo. FBA, I cooked whiting because I cannot tolerate catfish. My mama used to cook catfish, but I can't eat catfish. But FBA Nigel, listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all may not remember. See, the young folks don't remember. Whiting didn't used to come in them fillets. It just used to be the big whiting fish with no head on it. And it was about 6 of them in that box. Do y'all remember that? It was about 6 of them in that box. A big old whiting box. And you used to take the box and you didn't wait until they was all the way completely thawed. But you waited till you could undo them from each other. And you take a knife and you cut the scale off of it. You cut the fins off of it. And when you cut the fin off of it, then you batter it in your fish batter. And my mama used to shallow fry it. Y'all don't hear me? And put that over some spaghetti. Thank you, C-True. So there's no excuse for these Gen X women today. Say what you want about the boomers, but it's been all Gen X for the last 20, 30 years, and they squandered the opportunity for improvement. Yes, Gen X dropped the ball big time. We didn't have them filleted. It was the big old piece of whiting. I don't even think I don't even hardly see them like that in the store no more. They don't sell them like that no more. Let's move on to the music, because that's when we really start started seeing a difference. Yes, Bucket 88 in a big old cast iron skillet. If you ain't got no cast iron skillet, I told y'all that before, you're not cooking. If you don't own at least 2 cast iron skillets, a big one and a little one. I said what I said. Okay, let's move on to the music, y'all. We used to have love songs. We used to call our music soul because the music had a spiritual component to it. It was high vibrational music. That's why everybody loved it. That's why everybody wanted to copy it. That's why everybody wanted a piece of it. We used to have ballads. Don't get me started on no Al Green. Bishop, don't you type that in my chat room. The show we watched was called Soul Train. Thank you, Father Sign. Soul Train. Soul Train. Neo Soul was the last effort that we had of bringing back soul into our music. That spiritual component, that love, that care, that togetherness in our music. The 90s was the last shot we gave that early 2000s. Shout out to Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Bilal, and a host of others that tried to give us neo soul. India Ari, Legacy. But we had love songs, y'all. The women and the men used to sing love songs to each other. The men used to sing, they call them, they simp ballads now, but they was love. We didn't see it that way back then. I grew up with older parents. My parents was older boomers. So the soundtrack in my house was the Isley Brothers, Aretha, the Temptations, the Impressions, Sam Cooke. That was the soundtrack in my house. Okay? Earth, Wind, and Fire. All of them. That was the soundtrack. Frankie Beverly and Maze. Thank you, Franklin. We had all of that as a soundtrack in our homes, in my home. I know I'm not the only one. And these brothers and the women too. Aretha had plenty of love ballads. Gladys Knight had love ballads. Midnight Train to Georgia was about following her man. LA was too much for the man. Okay? What she say in the song? I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. She wanna be, listen, I'm a city girl, but he a country boy and he wanna go back. I'm going back. One of Aretha's most famous songs was Natural Woman. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, but you're the key to my peace of mind. You understand me? But then the 90s hit. And while we still had men, Boys to Men, Jodeci, all of these boy groups, boy bands they call them, singing love songs, singing all kind of love ballads. Then we had the Mary J. Blige era. Now I ain't gonna lie, that first album, not What's the 411. I got the second one, My Life. And I wore that out. I wore it out. I'm not even gonna lie. I wore out My Life. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. The women started singing these bitter, you doing me wrong songs. You ain't no good songs. You cheating on me songs. You leaving me songs. You won't stop messing around on me songs. Hyena anthems, thank you, Bishop. Started singing these hyena anthems. Kelly Price is one too. She was a friend of mine. You know, all these songs about betrayal and how the men wasn't doing right and how he broke your heart and how he left you over and over and how you can't get over it and you're crying all day and all of this. And it was so many of them. The men were still singing, I'm down on bended knee. They were still singing that. The women, on the other hand, were not. Mary J., it went on into Keisha Cole. It was Kelly Price. Jade Brownstone. It went away from En Vogue. En Vogue's first song was Hold On to Your Love. Ooh, my first mistake was I wanted too much time. I had to have him morning, noon, and night. If I would have known then the things that I know now, I might not have lost the time I complain about. She was talking about how to keep your man. And even their music changed before they broke up. Do we understand that? The women sold it out. Sold out in music. They're not writing their songs. Somebody else is writing these songs. And these songs are not talking about love between black men and black women anymore. They talking about, sing about how this Negro done did you wrong, girl. Sing about how you can't trust none of these men. Sing about, you can't trust them because your heart been broke so many times before. The men was still singing, take my money, my house and my car. They were still singing that. Brian McKnight, they were still singing that stuff. Don't tell me that music does not have a vibration to it and that it doesn't program. Because shout out to Sheep Stay Sleep was talking about earlier this week, I believe, when he was talking about how different rap music in different eras had you thinking different stuff. So if you was outside kind of in a crowd and if you buck, if that came on, you need to leave. You need to leave because somebody about to get shot. It's gonna be a fight. Somebody about to get shot. If that come on, somebody getting shot. Somebody getting shot. You just might as well, if you're not involved, you need to leave. So music has a vibration to it. It excites you to do a couple of different things. You either gonna fight, you either gonna love, or you gonna start growing a disdain. It went from love of the men to he better pay me. Money became the focal point. Now we gonna get into it. Money became the focal point and it replaced the spiritual component of everything. Wealth. Because see, we had a value system that worked for us. We had this. We had this, an actual value system that began with the spiritual and ended with wealth. It wasn't that wealth didn't have any importance. It was just that the spiritual component had the most importance. We used to think that way as a people back when we was more together, that family meant more. The spirituality meant more. Who you were as a person meant more than what you had in your pocket. We grew up watching TV shows like Good Times, a poor family, but a family where James was the man of that house. Florida followed James' lead. And she wasn't caught up in what kind of money James did or didn't have. He was the man. She married him. She had them kids by him. She had those children by him. That was her husband. And it wasn't her listening to him or submitting to him wasn't based on what kind of paycheck he brought her. Whatever he had, she was thankful for. And whatever they didn't have, she made do. It meant more to us to be together as a unit. We took pride in songs like Ain't No Stopping Us Now, I'm Black and I'm Proud, those kinds of songs. We took pride in that stuff because there was a togetherness, there was a camaraderie, there was a common link that we felt to one another. We don't feel that at all because at some point it became more important to women how much money that man had rather than what kind of man he was. At some point, our men became human doings and not human beings. We remained the ones that had feelings that could be hurt, a heart that could be broken. But our men became objects, things that could not hurt, that could not feel. But he always has to do. He has to do for me. It doesn't matter what kind of man he is. Thank you, Father's Time said James Evans wasn't a high value man, but he was a man with values. Exactly. He had values. He had principles. He had his masculinity. His wife respected him. His children respected him. His loss was devastating to them. She wasn't running around telling James every few minutes that she could make it without him. In point of fact, she would express the opposite. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know how I would make it without you. I need you. Thank you, Red Pill. That's what she would say to James. I need you. These children need you. Even when they had disputes. Thank you, Dangerous Television. JJ wasn't Florida's son husband and all of that foolishness. She had a husband. The last time we saw a positive black male in a family setting on television was the Cosby Show. Stop me when I'm lying. Now, our men are portrayed as either evil, they just criminals, they just degenerates, or they rainbow say that, so they not interested in heterosexual relationships. And if it's not that, these are weak men that don't really have any direction. They don't have their masculinity. They don't have their leadership. They don't have any direction in their life. Thank you, Rock, as well. I forgot about Rock. I like that character. That actually made me like Charles S. Dutton as an actor. And then they stopped showing black men in this light. They stopped showing black men in this strong, positive way. I'm going to go back to the music for a little bit. Do y'all remember just recently these hyenas out here mad at Cater to You, that old Destiny's Child song? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that uproar about a month or two ago, something like that? And they got the arguing can on about, we don't like that song. Cater to You. This a pick me song. This a pick me song. We don't like this song. Nothing wrong with that song. First of all, that song about 17, 18 years old. And they went all the way back that far to pick on a song that was talking about what? Women catering to her man. To her man. They didn't like Beyonce. Listen, Beyonce didn't blow up until she started singing these hyena anthems. Because Destiny's Child didn't start out singing hyena anthems. They were singing Cater to You. They had remade that Emotion song. It's just emotions taking me over. They remade that. Then it went to Bills, Bills, Bills. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Now she talking about this mythical Build-A-Bear dude. Some dude she ain't never had no experience with. Do you understand this? These were not songs from these women's experiences. These were songs written by other people that they had to sing. You just a bugaboo, you bugging me? About a man who was just trying to show his affection or pursue her. He was called a bugaboo. That was the first iteration of calling a man thirsty. All because he's interested. And he's trying to show interest in you. Now he thirsty, now he a bugaboo. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. That independent stuff. I'm an independent woman. All the women who's independent, throw your hands up, baby. Okay? These is hyena feminist anthems that got women more into that mindset. Oh, I don't need no man. Just her discography alone is a feminist anthem. From bills, oh, I ain't gonna take care of no dude. Oh, he don't bring my car back with gas and nah, girl. Now these women started picking this stuff up, had not even experienced this stuff personally, hadn't experienced that stuff. They picking this stuff up off of music. Do you understand? A lot of them young girls had not even had no relationship at all with nobody, let alone had already had some type of similar relationship and was like agreeing with it because this is a common experience. No. They were just told this is your experience. And women have a peculiar thing that we do with each other socially. We will identify with each other's pain or each other's experiences, and sometimes we'll take them as our own. This is part of how women socialize. We empathize heavily with one another. So even if we didn't have that experience, if she had the experience, we'll be like, oh yeah, I get that. And we'll take that on. We'll take that experience on as our own, which is what happened through this music. Keisha Cole and all her bitter songs. Now you got Jasmine Sullivan. Pick Up Your Feelings. Girl, bye. And the sad part about it is some of these women were highly talented. Like Jasmine Sullivan can sing the house down. Why they got her singing these little bitter songs? Her last album was called Hotels. This is the type of stuff that women is taking in. Or go back to TLC. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend ride, trying to holler at me. That was Candy's creation. So that made all black women think of what? Every black dude was a scrub. If he did try to holler at her and he was in his friend's ride, you a scrub. When just before that song came out, she would have busted open for him. Now all of a sudden, her quote unquote standards are high And now she don't want to scrub. It's like, okay, y'all letting this music dictate how you living your life and how you are interacting with these men. You ain't never had no relationship. What is you talking about? We was in high school when that song came out. You ain't had no real relationship in no high school, girl. Boop, bye. Knock it off. You ain't had no real relationship, girl. The little high school relationships don't count. Unless you get married out of high school. You had a woman talking about he a scrub in the car and she's standing at the bus stop. Now then you had LL Cool J talking about he liking a round-the-way girl, and what was the description? Standing at the bus stop sucking on the lollipop. He didn't care she had no money. He know she broke. He knew she was broke. You know a round-the-way girl ain't got no money. Come on. He didn't care. She better than you if you broke and she broke. She don't want you because you at the bus stop, but she at it. Standing at the same bus stop, going the same way you going. Thank you, Chano. Says City Girls lyrics are pure thoughts of hyena. Oh, yeah. Those are unadulterated hyena thoughts. This is the type of music, though. This is what I'm talking about. It began to dictate. See, if it had stayed just music, it wouldn't have been no problem. But it's not just music. They understood something that I explained earlier this week. Infusing a narrative in the culture and then us taking that from the culture and making it true. And then it become the culture. Do you understand? Do you understand that? You understand what I just said? They put a narrative in the culture. Through the culture. They gave us a narrative through the culture. Through the music. Thank you, sir. Said blessings to you. Keep the truth going. Subscribe. Thank you so much. Through the music, black women took that as the truth, regardless of having those experiences or not. And once black women took that as the truth, it became black culture. Sold out. No more soul, no more spirit, no more love, no more of any of that. I'm going to talk about some other stuff, but I'm going to say one more thing about music. Even gospel music changed. Even gospel music changed. For the Christians in here, did gospel music change? Because it sure wasn't the gospel music that my mama raised me on. Because we got raised up on choir music and stuff. James P. Key. The Canton Spirituals. The Mighty Clouds of Joy. The Hawkins family. The Winans. That was the gospel music I was raised up on, the Mississippi Mass Choir, the Chicago Cosmopolitan, they tried to make that gospel music sound more like secular music and actually removed talking about God. I grew up on the Ranch Allen group. Do you understand that? That changed. Ruminant said ain't no more theology, ain't no more God in it. How you got gospel music, ain't no God in it? I grew up on the Clark sisters, the Pace sisters. How did we really get sold out? What about including everybody? Black Lives Matter? Anybody? See, Black Lives Matter was never about love. That was never about love for black men or the black community or the preservation of black culture. That was never about that. Thank you, Shirley Caesar. Yeah. It was never about that. All of that intersectionality, including everybody. It was about money. It was about making political moves. It was about, at some point, black women stopped thinking about everybody else and just began to think about herself and how she could be propelled forward, or what she thinks or what she thought was being propelled forward. And forget the men, even forget the children. So black women are so invested in hating black men till outside, when a black man speaks to a black woman, I have seen it. She makes it a point to show him, a man she don't know that did nothing but speak to her, her disdain for him, her hatred for him. We invested. Black women are invested now in hating black men. Even the outward show of how she hates him. He can't even speak to her. Black men still hold that camaraderie between each other. I see black men that I'm sure don't know each other. That's their thing. See each other. Sometimes if it's a Muslim, now I don't know if they do exactly that in everywhere else, but I know in Chi-Town, it's either or. And the brothers do it to each other. They don't even bother to speak to the women no more. They don't bother to speak. Because the women are too evil. They too mean. Too ready to say he thirsty or call him some type of name or just ignore the fact that this man held the door and he spoke. Man hold the door, shouldn't even say nothing. Like he owe her. You be in these stores and you see these black women. Listen, let me tell you something. Be in these stores and see these black women. She 900 pounds disabled, sitting in a hover round. She in the store in a hover round. Okay? It can't even move properly because she over the weight capacity of it. And it usually be a black man who whatever kind of relationship he got with her, husband or son or friend, whoever it is. And he's doing the leg work for her because she too big to do anything. And she arguing with him the whole time. I seen it at all these, this old lady, she was an old lady, and I guess the man was grown or whatever. It might have been her son. Looked like he might have had some type of, some type of, mental thing going on or something like that. She's loading the car up. It's hot outside, man. Now she creeping around. Hurry up. You so stupid. Get the bag over there. Put that right there. She directing traffic, too big to move. He running around. It was hot that day too. Putting all of the groceries in the trunk and all of this other type of stuff. He's doing all of that. He's doing all of that kind of stuff. And she arguing with him. You stupid. He helping you hover around. He helping you hovercraft. Okay? You can't hardly get from one side of the car to the other because you got gout and your feet swole to oblivion. And whether he had a mental disability or not, he was in better shape than you was physically. Because I bet you couldn't have went there and got all that food without him. That's why you with him. You ain't carrying them bags, he is. And she was yelling at that man the whole time he was packing from the grocery cart to the trunk. She argued with him all when they got in the car. I heard her as they pulled off, she was still arguing. And I just shook my head like, really? This what you doing to this man? I felt so bad. I felt so bad for that brother because it was almost like he was her slave or something. And that is how black women see black men now, as a slave. No love, no concern, no care, no nothing. You make all these movements, these Black Lives Matter movements and all of this stuff under the guise of soul, under the guise of spirit. But it don't have nothing to do with loving black men or black children or upholding black culture or none of that. I'm going to ask y'all a question. I'm going to ask y'all a question, see do you get this right. the biggest leader and largest contributor to black movements in the last 10 years? Put a 1 in the chat and name that person if you know. I'm going to repeat the question. Who is the biggest leader and the largest contributor to black movements in the last 10 years? Put a 1 in the chat and answer it if you know. Uh-oh. We got somebody that knows something. Thank you. My Crimsonites is on it. Y'all better answer these questions around here. Y'all better. The Crimsonites ain't no joke. Do you understand that? The Crimsonites ain't no joke. It's George Soros. That is the answer. My Crimsonites ain't no joke. They better, the rest of the internet better ask somebody who the Crimsonites is. George Soros. Now, who he been sponsoring? Who he been sponsoring? Black Lives Matter. And who ran Black Lives Matter? Black women. And what did they do with black men? They ditched them to the side while simultaneously making money off of the carcasses of black men. They dismissed black men as living men. Living heterosexual, heteronormative black men were thrown under the bus. The only heterosexual, masculine black men that were of any use to Black Lives Matter was dead ones. Like they said on the old Planet of the Apes, the one with Charlton Heston, the only good human is a dead one. And that's how they feel about black men. The only good one is a dead one. Because that's how we make our money. That's where the bread and butter is at. And we ain't supposed to know that black women sold us out? When you take money from George Soros to sponsor everything you did, and then when you got that 90 million, you went and bought property and moved to the whitest part of the United States that you could find? You know what black women did to our culture? You put a 1 in the chat if you want to know what black women did to the culture. Put 1 in the chat if you want to know. They made black women, made black culture as empty as her vessel. Do you need me to repeat that? Black women made black culture as empty as her vessel. Things that don't have no soul are dead. that inverse value system that black women are living off of is a dead system because it does not have any spiritual component. It does not have a soul in it. You cannibalize, thank you, Talufa, you cannibalized your men and you cannibalized your children so that you could get money. That was what the problem was with Tamika Mallory. That Cadillac commercial was ridiculous. No men in it, and the only representation of a male was not even male. It was Tea Party. They even went so far, I'm going to tell you, that the soul is gone. If you remember that commercial, they went so far as to mock the Last Supper. Do you remember? You remember that? And you didn't sell us out? We wasn't sold out by you? Then come behind it with your little trifling self talking about some sexism was worse than racism. You knock it all the way off. You knock that all the way off. You ain't never experienced no true hardship by being no woman in the freest country in the world. You one of the freest women in the whole wide world talking about some sexism was worse than racism. Always trying to have some struggle Olympics without no struggle. Using the names and images and the deaths of black men to justify your agenda. To justify you eating them. Couldn't care nothing about a black man living and breathing. All of a sudden, George Floyd got so much honor and, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff because you ate off of them. Had that same man come to you and just so much as spoke or had a word of correction at some point, now, sister, you're doing it wrong, you'd have cussed him out from head to toe. So living, he ain't worth nothing to you. Dead, he's worth millions. Ain't that how Zaddy has always done us? Ain't that how he has always done black men? He ain't worth nothing. If he ain't working for me, he ain't worth nothing. If I can't make money off of him, he ain't worth nothing. Thank you, Dedrick. So the feminists use it for a bandwagon, just like in 1840s, feminists use abolitionist movement as a bandwagon. Yes. The same man that you hit the streets for and claim that you an activist and you standing for him, that same man can't tell you nothing. You will have a baby bound and hurt the child to get to him. Thank you, James Kane. Let me take a moment out to get to these super chats real quick. Because I don't want to overlook the super chats. Let's see who we got. We got TC. We got Dark Power. We got Dedrick in the Cash App. Thank you so much. We got Darian. We got TM. We got Janae. We got Nate. We got Jay. Thank you so much for these Cash Apps. Thank you. Don't have no care and concern for no black man nowhere. You don't even love yourself. You don't even like yourself. You don't even like other black women. Because you'll blow her brains out when you feel, froggy, when you feel like you can. Black women don't speak to other black women either. Black women hate each other. Don't let nobody tell you that black women have a sisterhood, because they don't. Black women only team up to eat black men and feminine black women. The only time hyenas group up is when they trying to eat a black man or bring down a feminine black woman. Don't let them tell you nothing else. Don't let them tell you nothing else. Thank you, Two Trio. Ain't no sisterhood. Ain't no sisterhood. It's a sisterhood of failure. It's hyenas. Hyenas only get together then when it benefit them to do so. Ain't no love and ain't no care. Because they can't stand their daughters either. Black women are jealous of their daughters. And they set them up for failure on purpose. I said it. They jealous of their daughters and sets them up on purpose. They sets them up to get assaulted. They sets them up to fail in life. They set them up. They sets them up to get molested. I said it. Yes, they do. Hyenas do that. They set the girls up to live alone, to be lonely, to be bitter and hateful. That's what black women do. That's how we got sold out. That's you selling us out. That's you telling us you don't care nothing about what go on with black people or black men or black boys or black girls or even other black women. You out for self. And you failing at that. Since we talking about the spiritual component, you don't think that's going to come back to you? All that death and decay that you spread, when you take the spirituality out of things, you kill them. You kill it when you take the soul out. That's the difference between a living person and a dead one. One got a soul and the other one don't. You kill everything around you and then you want to live. Make that make sense. You parasitic. You're a culture ulcer. Y'all know what an ulcer is, right? Let's look at what an ulcer is. I'll read the definition of an ulcer. An ulcer An open sore on an external or internal surface of the body caused by a break in the skin or mucous membrane that fails to heal. It is an open sore. The second definition, a moral blemish or a corrupting influence. That's an ulcer. Write that down. Black women have been culture ulcers. An ulcer on the culture. Anybody that has ever had an ulcer, I've never experienced that. I hope not to, because everybody that I know that had an ulcer said it was very, very painful for them. Thank you, Odessa. A blight. Choking the life breath out of FBA. A blight. You're an ulcer. A culture ulcer. A blemish. An open sore that cannot be healed. And this is why people don't really get it. This is why it's hard to hear for a lot of people, because sometimes an ulcer sneak up on you. It develops under the surface where you can't see it, or it develops internally where you can't see it. You can't detect it right away. All you know is at first it's some discomfort there. Okay? It's not real comfortable. Something going on. I'll get to it. You know, let me take me a little Pepto-Bismol or something. You know, my stomach could be all right. You know, I drink me a little water. And then it keep on going. This is not feeling good. I study hurting. Yeah, ooh. Till you balled up. Usually you don't get no treatment for an ulcer until you balled up. Now you got to go to the hospital. And they got to tell you, you got an ulcer in your stomach lining. That's why your stomach hurt like that. You didn't know, now I know. Undetectable at first. You don't know what it is. You think it's just a regular tummy ache or something. Till you realize it ain't nothing normal about that. It ain't what you ate last night. You got to undergo all kind of treatment and it still might not heal it. You just trying to manage the pain and the symptoms of it. You culture ulcers. You've grown undetected. We didn't see that threat at first. At first, we didn't see that threat. Now the threat is evident, but we dead now. And you don't want nobody to say nothing about it. That's the part that get me. Like James Brown says, sold me out for chicken change. Told me you had it all arranged. What did you win? That's what I want to know. What did you win for that? For killing off your community. Now it's just an ethnic outpost here and there. What did you win? I want to know what you won. I want to know what was in the prize. Because we done already went over the fact that Zaddy don't want nothing to do with you. He don't want nothing to do with you. He don't want you, don't like you, don't need you. For all he care, you can stay over in the dumpster fire you created. It don't matter to him that you created it at his behest. That don't matter. He trying to get rid of you too. You just too stupid to know it. You was just too stupid to figure it out. You tore down your own house. Now you're homeless. You got nowhere to go. He ain't tell you come over there. You can't come in his house and burn it down. Huh. You better find you somewhere to go. You wanted all these little positions. You wanted to be a mayor. You want to be the chief of police. And you want to have a career. But what is it getting you? For all that, this what killed me. And you know what? This what killed me. For all that big talk y'all be doing about how black men ain't this and black men ain't that and they don't give you this and they don't give you that. Y'all sure do stay on Kevin Samuel's line begging for one. Somebody tell me. Y'all stay on his line begging him to find you a man. I thought black men wasn't nothing. I thought black men didn't build nothing. I thought black men didn't have nothing. And he study got to tell you it's only so many percentage of black men that make X amount of money. For whatever reason, you on the one hand, because you speak out both sides of your mouth. So out of one side of your mouth, black men ain't got no money, they dusty, and you know they only make $2 average a year annually. Then when you call in to him, you study talking about I need a man that's gonna make $350,000, $200,000 a year. But I thought you said black men was dusty and ain't had no money. I thought black men didn't have no money. But you stay begging to find you a black man with money. And he study got to convince you all of us ain't got no 6 figures, ma'am. Don't want no man that make $50,000, $60,000 a year and you sitting here on welfare with 4 kids talking about that ain't good enough for you. Boo, girl. You sitting there functionally illiterate with a bonnet on talking about that ain't good enough for you. A dented can of green beans is good enough for you. What is you talking about? What is you talking about? You the same individual eat mashed potatoes out of a box. What is you talking about? Every day your kids' dinner consists of Zingers, Little Debbie cakes, and Kool-Aid. What is you talking about? Thank you, Jay. I want to know what you're talking about. I just want to know, because you know I have my notes, y'all. For those of you who don't know, I have my notes. We used to have some type of care and concern for ourselves. We used to have care and concern for families. Y'all don't care nothing about families. I was listening to a show last night. And one of the ladies on the panel was trying to go back and forth with one of the guys on the panel. And he said, men don't need women to survive. We need women for one thing if we're going to procreate. Other than that, we don't need women. Without saying it, he was talking about this. Men operate in four main things. This is not the only way that they operate, but these are the four main. These are the essence of male nature. He provides, he problem solves, he protects, he procreates. Men do not need women for any of them except for number 4. And he was trying to tell her, it's not that we don't want women, not saying that, but we don't need you for provision. We don't need you. We don't need you to like get us money and feed us, and we don't need you for that. And this woman was trying to say like, well, what if a woman make a certain amount of money, what does she need a man for? And he was just like, huh? What you talking about? Yeah. If women make a certain amount of money, what do women need men for? And I'm sitting there watching the show like, you goofy, huh? You goofy, huh? Anything to not have no or not see that you need togetherness with your man. It is not a woman alive that don't need all 4 of them things. It is not a single one. I mean, if she making up money, what does she need? So why do you keep calling? Why do you keep calling to get a man if you don't need nothing that he got? If you have a bunch of money, why are you calling folks all over the internet, all over the interwebs to give you a man? Why are you running around here with a closet full of toys? Don't none of them satisfy you because they're not attached to a man. Women have always needed provision from a man. We have always needed problem solving from a man. We have always needed protection from a man. And we have always needed procreation from a man. The only reason that we are in this country as women right now, calling yourself you make money and you don't need a man, is because men created the environment where women could work and go get you some money and go get you some education or something like that. Men created that situation. You didn't have that opportunity before men said, okay, women can have that opportunity. That's why you can go to school or open up a business or any of that stuff and not be looked at funny, because men created an environment where women could do that. And she could do so freely. Men did that. When you need something done, men problem solve because it takes foresight, it takes analytical thinking to resolve problems properly. Women look to men to do that. When we run into something that is overwhelming, we want some man somewhere to come and fix it. Whether that be our personal, you know what I'm saying, like relationship with that man, or we called him, we called a service where men come fix things. Black women cannot stop hollering about protection. Thank you, Raven Speaks. They can't stop talking about protection. We need protection. Black men don't protect us. We need protection. And wear our protection. We need to be protected. I don't hear no group of men running around talking about, I need protection. Man, when these women gonna protect us, man? We'll never get no protection, man. I ain't never heard no group of men squad up and say that. Not one time. And for all of that talk about how black men is dusty and this, that, and the third, y'all stay pregnant by them same men. So I don't want to hear that either. Because you like it when he come throw that back out. So I don't want to hear that either. You like that old back getting thrown out of proportion, don't you? You like it when he come over and be a whole chiropractor. Okay, just crack, clack, 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 clack out. Just crack the back. Just crack your whole back out. Just spineless. You just slither out the house. That's what you like. So I don't want to hear that either. You just want to slither around the house. You just want him to take your spine. He worse than Predator. Just take your spine and just rip it out your back. That's what you want. You be looking at him so googly-eyed when he take your spine and just pop it out your back. You be like, oh. Girl, ooh, girl, did he do? Girl, I ain't got no spine, girl. Ooh, I ain't got no spine, girl. Girl, I ain't got no spine. Girl, I'm gonna have to have him take my spine out again. Girl, you ain't grow it back. I don't gotta grow it back, girl. I don't even want to grow it back. Matter of fact, I do want to grow it back just so I can feel him yank it back out of there. That's what it is. Women need men for survival. It's a delusion that women live in now because men have made this society easy for you. Men have created the ease in the society for women. That's where women are getting this delusion from that they can do stuff without men. If men had not created the society in this fashion, you would still be somewhere on the homestead, pregnant, trying to till, the land or whatever. You still be doing that. You know that, don't you? You know that, don't you? Y'all not ready for that conversation. Talking about, well, if women make some kind of money, she don't need no man either. So why you beg for him? Tired of that black men don't build stuff. You sitting in the very country that black men built. I'm so tired of hearing that narrative. I don't know what to do. Just about everything you use, came out of the mind of a black man. It came out of the mind. It came out of the soul. It came out of the heart of a black man. Just about everything Zaddy got, he stole from a black man. Just about everything he got. You let things in this culture, you let Zaddy tell you that your man wasn't nothing. And you believed it. And he'd be trying to figure out, why do you believe that? You live with him. You don't see him? I put out a whole narrative about him to stop him. What do anybody think that the system of white supremacy really even is? What do y'all think that is? What? I want some answers. Put it in the chat. Just whatever you think it is. What do you think the system of white supremacy is? What do you think it was instituted for? Why do you think there is an inverse value system? Why do you think that they convinced us that wealth was more important than spirit? Why do you think they convinced us of that? Why do you think black men are disproportionately incarcerated? Why do you think there's a school to prison pipeline that disproportionately affects black boys? If you and I were in a race and I thought I was not going to win that race heads up, and I cheat, I do something to your training, or I do something to your shoes, or I do something to impede you in this race, why else am I doing that to you? Why am I doing that to you? If not for any other reason than to ensure or try to ensure my success by impeding you. I can't just go heads up and make the best man win. No. Because I know you're gonna win. Because you beat me at the game before. That's how I know. And you beat me at that game, and I put forth my best effort and lost. So we ain't going back up against no, I have to institute an entire system to keep these men at bay. And the most ingenious thing that he thought of to use was you, black woman. He thought to use you because you were the closest thing to black men, and he knew black men loved you. He knew black men loved you and loved his children. He knew that. To kill something, you gotta take the soul out of it. You gotta take the heart out of it. He know that. And he snatched the heart out of black men's chest by using his woman to destroy him. And she destroyed his children right along with it. Take the heart right out of a man. Devastate him. Used you. And you let it happen. See, at this point, you know it's happening and don't care. See, at some point, you could have said black women didn't understand it. Now you do. Too much information out there for you not to understand what you're doing. You understand it. You just don't care about it. I'm going to start wrapping this up, y'all. I'm going to wrap this up. I can't let black women claim ignorance anymore. I can't let you claim ignorance no more. You can't do it around me anymore. You can't claim ignorance anymore. I can't let you. You know what you're doing now. The information is there. The evidence is here. Maybe 70 years ago, we could say black women didn't see it coming. Now you living in it. Can't let you go. Can't let you have no accountability on it. You got accountability on it. But anyway, we're going to start wrapping this up. But before we go, this barn burner has been brought to you by A-Game, which is a male herbal solution. So if you want to be part of the A-Game family, ladies, if you got men in your life and you want them on their A-Game, then all you got to do is click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com, and you can get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10. So it's super, super simple. You don't even got to go nowhere. Just at the top of the chat right there, click the link for A-Game. You can have your box of awesomeness being delivered to you. So this is 21 herbs. There are no animal byproducts. There are no artificial ingredients here. Just pure awesomeness and goodness for men, okay? So, get your box of A-Game. Click the link at the top. Get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Oh, and before you go, next week, if you thought this week was fire, next week, we're going to be breaking down the inverse value system. For those of you who are not quite sure what I'm talking about, this is the value system, right? This is the correct value system, the 10 life value success system from spiritual to wealth. So next week, we're going to break down the inverse of that and how that has affected us as a people, as a culture, as women, okay? So be ready for that. There's always something to learn at the Crimson Tower, okay? All right, so thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you. It's a couple more I got. Salami, thank you so much. And S. Nicholas, thank you so much. Thank everyone for the cash apps, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.